everyone, and welcome to your yoga practice. This week we are going to be focusing on deep breath and deep movement. So we are going to be holding a lot of the poses in today's class for 10 breaths, which is a lot longer than we normally hold those poses in our vinyasa practice. So why are we doing that? We're doing this to strengthen the poses so that we can really start to learn about the correct alignment in those poses, really start to feel into the poses, but also to draw the focus towards the breath. So when we can take these deep, long pauses and just start to breathe deeply in the pose, we start to draw our practice right back to the breath and the importance of the breath. So we're not really going to need too many props for today's practice. We will need a yoga block if you have one. If you don't have a yoga block, you can always substitute with a thick book. So I'm going to give you a moment to get your prop. And then we're going to come straight down into a reclined pose today. We're going to come towards a Shavasana corpse pose like state. Just start to lay down and relax onto the mat, relieving any tension from the body, facing the palms up towards the sky, closing down the eyes, and starting to draw the attention to the breath. Taking deep and controlled breaths here. On each inhale, try to draw a little more breath into the lungs. On the exhale, allow all of the muscles to soften, relax towards the mat. Start to put aside any thoughts or stresses that have been occupying the mind. Let go of them. Use the breath to breathe them out. Total mind and body relaxation here. We're going to start to invite a little bit of movement into the body now. On your next inhale, start to lift the arms up, raising them towards the sky, and then drawing them down all the way overhead, reaching back behind you. Continue to breathe here, stretching the entirety of the body. On your next inhale, start to rise back up, raising those arms up towards the sky. Reach nice and tall here, so you're starting to lift the shoulders off the mat. And then release, draw the arms back down towards the side, palms facing up towards the sky. On your next inhale, start to draw the knees in towards the chest, hugging them in. And we're going to wrap the arms around the knees here. Take a little gentle rock from side to side. Continue to breathe deeply. On your next inhale, start to send the knees over towards the right side. Spread both arms out nice and long here. As you inhale, you're going to draw that right arm up in front of you, reaching nice and high. As you exhale, draw that right arm down. See if you can place it on top of the left elbow here. Inhale, reach that right arm nice and long. Exhale, draw it back down towards the side. Inhale, reach the left arm long. Exhale, draw the left arm down over the right arm. Inhale, reach back up. And exhale, draw that left arm all the way back down. Look towards the left hand here, getting a nice deep stretch through the spine. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths. Breathe deeply. then on your next inhale, start to draw those knees back to center, hug them back in towards the chest and gently rock from side to side. This time, start to send the knees over towards the left side. Draw those arms nice and long. Take a deep inhale here, lift the left arm up, reaching tall. Exhale, draw it down, see if you can reach for the right elbow. Inhale, draw it up. Exhale, draw that left hand back down. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, draw that hand down over the left arm. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, draw that right hand back down. Look towards the right hand. Take that nice deep twist through the spine. Staying here for 10 breaths. When you reach the end of those 10 breaths, draw those knees back to center, hug the knees in towards the chest, a gentle little rock from side to side. We're going to use the hands to grab hold of the outside of the feet, the soles of the feet here, and then point the soles of the feet up towards the sky, come into happy baby pose. Start to take a little rock from side to side, massaging the spine, feeling the stretch through the hip and the groin area here. And then find stillness in this pose. Really pull down on the tops of the feet a bit, exaggerating the stretch through the hip here. Breathe deeply. Again, staying here for 10 breaths. Draw the feet in towards one another. Take a little rock from side to side. We're going to rock our way backwards and forwards and come all the way up to seated. Beautiful. Okay, coming into a cross-leg seated position here. Draw the hands towards the knees. We're going to work through some seated cat-cows. On your inhale, you're going to draw those shoulders and the elbows back behind you, puff the chest out, lead with the chin, come all the way forward and down. As you exhale, start to draw back round the spine, look in towards the belly, put the arch in the spine here. Inhale, draw forward, lead with the chin in the chest, elbows and shoulders go back behind you. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths. Keep breathing, really intensifying the stretch through the spine. Opening up the front side body here, looking straight ahead. Stay with it. And then when you reach the end of those 10 breaths, you're going to rock it back, round the spine, keeping those hands on the knees, look into the belly, drawing the shoulders inwards here. Again, stay here for 10 breaths. So we're stretching the back side here of the body. Feeling the Nice deep stretch through the shoulders, through the neck as well. And then when you reach the end of those 10 breaths, come back up to seated. Okay, we're going to move ourselves now into our tabletop position, coming onto the hands and the knees. And from here, we're really going to start to warm up our core. So start to suck the belly in towards the spine here. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. We're going to draw the right arm long in front of us, kick the left leg back behind us, drawing the body into a really nice straight line here. Imagine someone pulling on the fingertips, pulling on the toes. Strengthen and lengthen, staying here for those 10 breaths. Draw the focus back to your breath, breathing slow. Keep sucking the belly in. Almost there. Draw the right hand back down, draw that left knee back down. Settle back into tabletop, take the hips a little bit from side to side, relieve any tension. And then let's work through the opposite side. Left arm goes long, right leg goes long. Start to suck in the belly. Reach as far as you can. Breathe deeply. Let's stay here for those 10 breaths. Going, keep squeezing, we're nearly there. Then release that left hand back down, release that right knee back down, take the hips a little bit from side to side. Then from here we're going to take the knees out towards the very edges of the mat, toes point in towards one another, push the buttocks back to the heels. Let's come to our wide leg Malasana, child's pose. Reach those arms nice and long in front of you, drop the forehead towards the mat. 10 breaths here. If you want to keep a nice deep stretch through those shoulders, come up onto the fingertips. On your next inhale, slowly start to rise back up, come back into your tabletop position. Knees underneath the hips, hands nice and wide with a grip underneath the shoulders. We're going to activate our core once more, tuck the toes under the back, and then start to lift up those knees so that they are floating up off the mat. We're coming here into a bear crawl position. Really squeeze in the belly. We're activating the core to lift here. 10 breaths. Draw the focus back to that smooth pace of breath. Keep nice and strong. Don't allow those knees to drop down. At the end of your 10th breath, you drop those knees back down, you untuck the toes, Take the hips a little bit from side to side, release the tension. Keeping those hips nice and high above the knees, walk the hands all the way out towards the very edges of the mat here, coming into Anahita, melting heart pose. Drop the head and the chest down towards the floor. Either dropping down onto the forehead. For the deeper stretch, come onto the chin. Use the breath to melt that chest down, staying here for those 10 breaths. Feeling that really nice deep opening up in the front of the shoulders here. Enjoy it, sink into it. And then on your next inhale, press into the hands, start to rise back up. Come back to your tabletop position. Hips go that little bit from side to side, release the tension. Take the hands slightly in front of the shoulders this time, spread those fingers really nice and wide, root through the fingertips and through the palms of the hands, tuck the toes under, fly the hips up and back, come to downward facing dog, and immediately start to take that little pedal through the legs, bending in each knee one at a time, creating the length in the back of the legs. Good, then take a deep bend through both knees at the same time. See if you can press the belly towards the thighs. And then lengthen through both legs at the same time. Draw the shoulder blades apart, get nice and flat across the back here. We're going to stay here in our downward dog for those 10 breaths. If you have your Ujjayi breath in your practice, this is a really nice place to come to it. And then when you reach the end of those 10 breaths, start to walk the feet forward, come towards the top of the mat. Take the feet so that they are hip width apart. We're going to come into a wide leg version of our forward fold here, putting a nice generous bend in the knees, dropping the belly towards the thighs, hands go onto the elbows, and gently swing from side to side. Inhale, we're going to rise slightly, coming into a flat back, drawing the hands towards the knees or the shins, looking straight down towards the floor in front of you, nice and straight through the spine. Then as you exhale, you're going to release all of the body back down, allow everything to hang here. Again, that nice bend in the knees if you need it. We're going to draw our block or our book towards the top of the mat here, placing it in the center of the mat. Place the right hand onto your block, lengthen through that right arm, take the left arm all the way up towards the sky. Left leg will be nice and straight here. You can put a little bend through that right leg to allow the shoulders to come on top of one another here, opening through the chest. Look straight towards the hand in the sky, getting this nice deep twist through the spine. Draw the left hand down towards the block and take the twist in the opposite direction. This time you can bend through that left leg.
both knees, take the block back out towards the side, hands come onto the elbows. We're going to hang here for 10 breaths. At the end of your 10th breath, place both hands onto the mat and spread the fingers nice and wide. Step each leg back one at a time. Come back to downward facing dog. On an inhale, sweep the right leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, draw that right leg through. Plant the foot forward at the top of the mat. Drop the back knee down. Untuck the toes, sweep the arms up to the sky. Let's come to our low lunge here. Drive the hips down, open the chest and the heart space. Tilt the pelvis forward here so that we're nice and long through the spine. Breathe deeply. You're going to stay here for 10 breaths. Looking straight ahead, drawing the focus back to your breath. Reach that last breath, draw the hands together, draw them down into heart center. We're going to take a twist. Left elbow goes over the right knee. We open out towards the right side. Look back over the right shoulder. Press that left elbow in towards the knee to really leverage your twist. Stay here, 10 breaths. Down the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. We can be really meditative in these breaths. Then slowly come back through center. Place both hands down either side of that front foot. Tuck the back toes under. Engage the back leg. Step it back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, left leg goes up to the sky. Exhale, draw it through, step it forwards. Drop that back knee down, left side low lunge. Again, adjust the pelvis here. Draw that spine nice and long. Sink the hips down, open through the chest. Come to your deep breaths. Close down the eyes if that feels good for you. That 10th breath, hands come into prayer at heart center, and let's take our twist. This time right elbow coming over that left knee. We open out to the left side, really press the elbow in, look back over the left shoulder. Breathe deeply. Don't allow the mind to wander here. Stay with the feeling in the body. Stay with your breath. reach the end of that 10th breath, start to unravel. Hands come down to frame that front foot. You tuck the back toes under, and we step it back, downward facing dog. Take a little pedal if that feels good for you. Release any tension. Okay, on your next inhale, right leg goes up to the sky. Exhale, step it through. Coming this time into your high lunge, square those hips forward, arms go up to the sky. Breathe deeply here. We're going to stay here with nice strong legs in our high lunge, 10 breaths. When you reach the end of those 10 breaths, again, hands come down into prayer at heart center. We're going to power into the front leg. Kick that left leg back up behind you. Draw the chest down parallel with the floor. Come into your warrior 3. Feel into all those little wobbles here. Breathe deeply. Good, stay with it. Put a little micro bend in that front knee if that helps you. Then step the back foot all the way towards the back of the mat. We're going to open it out, coming into our warrior 2. Hips opening out to the side this time, arms over each leg. Look straight forward over the front hands. And enjoy the strength of this warrior. Again, 10 breaths here. The end of your 10th breath, left arm goes back behind you. Take the right arm up to the sky. Take your reverse warrior here, keeping the legs exactly as they were. Nice strong warrior legs. Look straight towards the right hand in the sky. End of your 10th breath, you're going to straighten through that front leg, reach the front arm forward, and we rotate down into our triangle pose. Option to take your block here to the inside of the foot, draw the right hand onto the block, and take that left arm up to the sky. Chest and heart space is nice and open here. Hips and shoulders should be aligned, so if you could see yourself from the side, you'd be in a nice straight line here. Again, 10 breaths. End of that 10th breath, draw the left hand down to meet the right, block can go out to the side, bend through that front knee, pivot on the back foot, hands go towards the top of the mat, we step it back, come back to downward facing dog. From here, drop both knees down towards the mat so that they are the width of the mat apart, push the buttocks back to the heels, come back to your wide leg child's pose. Drop the forehead towards the mat, close down the eyes and breathe deeply. 10 breaths here to rest and restore. end of your 10th breath, rise back up, come back to tabletop, draw those knees back underneath the hips, spread the hands nice and wide towards the top of the mat, tuck the toes under, fly it back, downward facing dog. On an inhale, sweep the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, draw it forward, step it through, come into your left side high lunge. Arms go up to the sky. Nice and strong through the legs here. Breathe deeply. 10 breaths. Again, don't let that mind wander. Keep the focus on your breath. At the end of those 10 breaths, hands come into prayer at heart center. We power into the front foot. Kick that right leg up behind us. Find your warrior 3. Drawing the chest parallel with the floor. Keep breathing deeply, feeling into all those little wobbles, legs working really hard. And then step it back, open it out. We're coming into our warrior 2. Hips externally rotating, arms over each leg. Draw the shoulders down, away from the ears. Look straight over that front hand. Breathe. Keep the strength in those legs, really squeezing the muscle in towards the bone here. At the end of your 10th breath, right arm goes back behind you, left arm goes up to the sky. Take your reverse warrior. Look straight to the hand in the sky. And then come back through your warrior 2, this time straightening the front leg to transition into your triangle pose. Again, you can use that block, reaching the front arm forward as far as you can, then rotating down. Right arm goes all the way up towards the sky. Push the hips forward, draw the shoulders back. At the end of that 10th breath, draw the right hand down, out the legs, a little bend through each knee. And then drop both knees down. Let's come back to Malasana, child's pose. Push the buttocks back to the heels, drop the head towards the mat. Breathe deeply again. If you want to keep the stretch through the shoulders, come up high onto the fingertips. Then on your next inhale, use the hands to walk the top half of the body up and come to kneeling. We're going to draw the knees back in towards one another here. We're going to tuck the toes under at the back and then come here into our broken toe pose. So we're going to sit back onto those heels, applying some pressure to the toes and getting a nice deep stretch through
toes here. Now we can hang out like this. If this feels too intense for the toes, you can draw down onto the fingertips, taking a little bit of weight out of the buttocks. If it feels too easy for you, you can go back the other way and push a little bit more weight into the buttocks. If you're centered, then you should still be getting a nice deep stretch through those toes. Breathe deeply. You can close down the eyes. Stay with it. This is a very deep, intense stretch for those toes. We're actually working part of the body that we don't often give a good stretch to. When you feel ready to release, we're going to draw down onto the hands, come to tabletop. We're going to tap the tops of the feet here to release the tension from the toes and just let it all go. Good. Draw the hands with a nice wide grip back towards the top of the mat. Settle the shoulders over the hands. Tuck each toe under at the back, and let's come here into our plank position. Drawing the body into a nice straight line. We're going to really start to fire up that core once more. Push back into the heels, suck the belly in. We stay here for 10 breaths. Breathe deeply. At the end of that 10th breath, you're going to drop the knees down towards the mat. Here we're going to draw down onto the forearms, settling the elbows underneath the shoulders, interlacing the fingers. Now you can stay like this on the knees. For those who really want to fire up, we're going to come into a low plank step, both legs back once more. Drop the hips down, push back into the heels, and take 10 breaths here. Stay with it, keep breathing, keep the focus on the inhale and the exhale. That's really going to help you here. At the end of your 10th breath, you're going to drop the hips all the way down towards the floor, untuck the toes, release the chest down towards the mat, make a little pillow with the hands, drop the forehead. Take the hips a little bit from side to side, releasing any tension from the mid-body. Then from here, we're going to take the arms out towards the side at a 45-degree angle. Fingertips are coming in towards the floor, elbows are pointing backwards. We're going to work through some Cobra waves here. As we inhale, we're going to lift the chest, press into the fingertips, squeeze the buttocks together, really rooting through the tops of the feet and opening the front side body. As you exhale, release the chest back down. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, release back down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release back down. Inhale, rise up. This time, get settled here. Squeeze those buttocks. Open through the chest. Look straight ahead of you. 10 breaths here in our Cobra. Really feeling that deep stretch all the way through the front side body here, especially through those upper abs. A nice bend through the lower spine. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears. We don't want to be hunched here.
The end of your 10th breath, you release all the way back down. Make a pillow with the hands. Take the hips from side to side. Release the tension from the lower spine. On your next inhale, place the hands underneath the shoulders. Push through the hands, push through the knees. Push all the way back to a child's pose. This time we're going to keep the knees nice and narrow, coming into a narrow leg version of child's pose. Arms go nice and long, fingertips towards the ground. And then on your next inhale, rise up and come to kneeling. From here, we are going to step each of the feet out towards the very edge of the mat, coming onto the flats of the feet here. Fingertips come towards the ground. We're going to sit the hips down, draw the elbows in towards the knees, and find our way into Malasana, our yogic squat. So here we're dropping the hips as low as we can. We're lengthening through the spine, reaching nice and tall through the crown of the head here. Using those elbows to open up the hips. You can give a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. And then find stillness. Really open the chest here. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths. Look straight ahead. Breathing, stay with it, we're nearly there. And then at the end of your 10th breath, you're going to drop down onto the buttocks. Good, coming to the center of the mat here so that you have some space in front of you, a little bit of space behind you as well. Knees are going to be nice and bent. We're going to draw the hands towards the knees here, and we're going to work through some seated cat-cows once more. As we inhale, we lift the chest, draw the chin and the chest forward towards those knees. As we exhale, we draw back and we round the spine, look in towards the belly. Inhale, lift and lengthen, draw forwards. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, release back. One more round like this. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, release back. This time we're going to release all the way down towards the ground. Beautiful. Coming onto the back here, hug the knees in towards the chest, and let's give our spine a really well-deserved massage here. A little bit of a rock from side to side. Grab hold of your block. We're going to take the block underneath the buttocks here. The book will also work perfectly well for this. It's just acting as a little lift, a little platform for our buttocks, for the very base of the spine. Then from here, with the arms by the side, we're going to lengthen each of the legs up towards the sky, coming into our legs up the imaginary wall pose. Flex the feet so the backs of the legs are completely activated here. And we're going to stay here for 10 breaths, just draining those legs and getting a nice rush of blood towards the head here. Breathe deeply. When you reach the end of that 10th breath, you're going to bend through both knees at the same time. Draw them in towards the chest, release the block from underneath you, take it out towards the side. Again, give a little rock from side to side and massage that spine. Draw the hands towards the outside of the feet. We're going to come back to our happy baby that we took at the start of the class. Facing the soles of the feet up towards the sky, really pull down on those feet, drawing the knees and the thighs towards the floor. A deep opening for the hip and the groin. Breathe deeply, 10 breaths here. End of that 10th breath, draw the soles of the feet together, press them together and allow them to drop down towards the floor. Take the hands to the inside of the thighs, give a little rock from side to side to arrive into Suktabaticanasana, our recline bound angle pose. Find stillness. 10 breaths here. Close down the eyes and just start to focus on the physical changes that have happened in the body. Notice how your body is feeling right now compared to the start of the class. We can really start to give thanks, give gratitude to our body for this practice. Start to draw the knees towards one another, hug them in towards the chest. We're going to take a final little twist through the spine. Right hand comes to the outside edge of that left knee. We draw the knees over towards the right side. Draw the left arm long. Look in the direction of the left hand. Take 10 breaths here. And then take 10 breaths in the opposite direction. End of that 10th breath, come all the way back to center. Take each leg nice and long here. Allow them to flop to each side. Let's come to Shavasana, our final resting pose. Take any necessary adjustments that you need to allow the body to completely relax. Palms face up towards the sky. Deep inhale through the nose. Fill the lungs. Really puff the belly and the chest out here. And exhale, allow everything to soften, relax towards the mat. Come back to a really nice slow pace of breath. Draw the focus of the mind to the inhale and the exhale. Nothing else matters. This is the culmination of all of your hard work and efforts. Allow all of this energy that you have created to settle within the body. Give yourself this well-deserved rest. Like to take a longer Shavasana here, I'm going to invite you to stay in this pose. For those of you that feel your practice has rounded off, you can come back up to seated, draw your awareness back to the body. I want to thank everyone that has practiced with me very much for joining me for this practice. Thank you so much for being here, for your energy. Namaste.